Kai-Fu Lee, in his 2018 book AI Superpowers, made some interesting observations about how different are Chinese users of software and websites in their patterns of interaction with user interfaces. When he worked for Google, he struggled to get Google to agree to localize not just the language of Google software, but to localize a few details of how the user interface works to better fit local usage patterns. These are small changes generally, but Google was exceedingly cautious. Google eventually left the Chinese market entirely. Google has at times been criticized for having a bureaucratic process for making changes to important products. Kai-Fu Lee's criticism is particularly useful because he was in the trenches, fighting to keep Google's Chinese market products competitive against hordes of both differentiated competitors and direct copies of Google's products. In other videos, I've pointed out that the API layer of modern software systems is a better place to start understanding the capabilities of a software system than, for example, a UML diagram. But Kai-Fu Lee's criticism of Google's unwillingness to make changes for the local Chinese market brings to mind that perhaps localization needs to be deeper than translating the text in the UI layer. Localization should, or could at least, take advantage of the API layer to create more user interfaces from the ground up for important overseas markets. The problem is the Chinese users prefer to use more of the pixels on their screen, and they have other different user interface preferences. The clean, spare look of much Western software isn't as appealing. In China, less is less and more is preferable. If a market is important enough for a local manager to go to the mat for relatively small changes to a user interface, why not create a user interface layer specifically for that market? The size of the Chinese market is comparable to North America and Europe combined. A company like Google has the resources to adapt their product, including all the documentation support, maintenance, and maintaining brand identity that a deep variant requires, if there is a business case for it. Kai-Fu Lee's book cites several examples of foreign products foundering on the way Chinese users are different. There's a case to be made that deeper localization could have made a difference for Google. One of the main points in Kai-Fu Lee's book is that winning and making money is more important than clean design or unification of brand image or originality. They don't overthink it. Ready, fire, aim. This may seem inconsistent and self-contradictory. The Chinese are also known for pixel copies of foreign software products. But for the Chinese, that's just one step on the learning curve.